The specks stood still in stunned silence. They knew that the giant had come from the direction of the kingdom of Rylanate. Their imaginations took over from there. The specks of Rod were convinced that the giant had stomped on the specks of Rylanate and made mush of them. As the giant got closer and closer, word went through the crowd that the giant had finished off the specks of Rylanate and was now coming to their kingdom to stomp on them. Some of the specks ran away screaming, but most stood still, knowing they could not outrun the fearsome giant's feet. Then one speck of Rod started clapping. At first, the specks next to him thought he was crazy, but then they started clapping too. Soon a small group was clapping. Then most of the crowd was clapping and cheering and jumping up and down as the giant approached. They had figured that if the giant thought they were glad that the specks of Rylanate had been stomped to pudding, then he might spare them and consent to be their hero. When the giant reached the front of the crowd, they whooped and hollered for a few minutes more. Then the crowd parted, and King Rod made his way through to the front. There before his people, at the giant's feet, he made a speech. "O great giant! Thank you, mighty, colossal, allied thing, for stepping on the specks of Rylanate and making so much mush of them. Your immense foot has crushed our ancient foe in an instant. Squashed beneath your mammoth bulk, these unspeakable hideous idiots, have been reduced to the evil scum that they have always represented. We are now delivered forever from their constant whining, taunting, and bantering. You, magnificent Titan, are our national hero. O necronomical whopper, you shall be the greatest of all figures in the history of Rod. There is none equal to your fabulous enormity on all of Ogdilla. You, tremendous Gargantua, shall be second only to myself, unless, of course, you would rather be number one. By the way, we thank you, phenomenal behemoth, so very much for not stomping on us, too. I can only offer our humble kingdom to you, amazing monstrosity, as compensation for the wonderful deed you have accomplished today. It is not a kingdom worthy of your monumental grandiosity, of course. You won't like it much. You will probably not like anything we offer you, since it is all tiny compared to your gargantuan size. But of course, anything we have is yours, but I don't know what you would do with it. I say, do you understand me?" The giant smiled at the specks of Rod, who smiled back until he spoke to them. To the specks, his voice sounded slow and deep and slurred. They looked at each other and shrugged their shoulders. The specks of Rod decided to go back to what they were each doing before the giant arrived. As they left, they kept looking over their shoulders to make sure the giant was not lifting one of his big feet to stomp on them. He did not move from where he stood, and maintained his smile until they were out of sight. The next day, the giant was right where the specks of Rod had left him, only he was sitting. So the specks went about their daily chores, and occasionally they would look over their shoulders at the giant just to make sure he had not stood up. This did not change for several days. Finally the giant got up and started following some specks around. He seemed to be watching them as they went about their everyday tasks. He still smiled as he watched them, but not as much. Day after day, month after month, season after season, he watched them tending their fields from planting to harvest. At harvest time, many specks noticed how much thinner the giant looked, and how little he smiled as compared to when he had first arrived in the kingdom of Rod. As they talked about it, they realized no one had seen him eat while he had been there. Some of the specks got together and brought food to the giant. When he saw they had brought some food to him, the giant looked horrified. He got up and ran off, far away from the kingdoms of Rod and Rylanate.